Mike, tell us a bit about your story.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I live in Liverpool now, but I was born into a Christian family a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how long ago, but I had a happy upbringing. Sadly lost my dad. He died when I was really small. But despite that, I still had a great childhood. I went up going to church as growing up, and life on the whole was pretty good. I had one or two experiences, you might say, of God, as a kid. But I think as I hit my teens, I began to sort of live a double life, and I was looking for something else, something more. And of course, as you hit your teens, you begin to be attracted by other things. So obviously there was kind of the usual stuff, experimenting with drink and girls and all that sort of stuff. But the thing that really captured me was rugby. And I got really involved with playing rugby, and kind of almost by mistake, but in those days I was quite a big lad as well and began to be quite successful. So from about 17, 18, 19, got into some good representative rugby teams, travelled to Australia, travelled to South Africa, played, a reasonable level. And I guess my whole ambition, in a way, it kind of took over my life and became the thing that I wanted to achieve. In the mix, I was also, continually distracted by just trying to succeed in life as well. I thought, if I succeed, if I do well at work, if I do well in rugby, then people will like me and I'll be something, So put all those things together, and I was just chasing this dream to earn loads of money, particularly if I could, to be professional in rugby, and I was going in that direction. But when I was 22, I had a really, really bad injury to my leg. I had to have it kind of rebuilt, and so just couldn't play rugby anymore. At the same time, I lost my job, so I became unemployed as well. And about the same time as that, a big relationship that I was in completely fell apart. So there I was. Everything that I thought would make my life better had gone in a matter of a couple of months, and I just felt completely empty. Now, when I've been chasing those things, the thing at that time was that I was still going to church, not all the time, but I was still going, if you like, pretending to be a Christian, still, saying something that I wasn't really living. I was actually chasing something else at that time, but when it all went, when the rugby went, the relationship fell apart, my job went, I felt a complete failure. And yet, I kind of felt drawn back to particularly the Bible. I found a Bible on my bed one day and I just started to read it. And as I read it, it was as if the words were coming off the page, as if God himself was speaking to me. And he was showing me that there was a better life that I could have through knowing and following Jesus. And as I began to read about him, I'll just backtrack a minute as well and say that one of the things that put me off putting Jesus first ahead of rugby or work or ambition was that I thought if I gave my life to him, I would have to become something that I didn't want to be. I thought I'd have to become maybe some weirdo, or I just don't know what it was. I just didn't want to be that person that I thought in my head I would have to be. Because I think I grew up seeing Jesus as a bit of maybe you could say, a bit weak. He kind of gave his life away. And when I came to read the Bible again, after all these things have been taken away from me, the rugby and the relationship and the job, and I read the Bible and began to read about Jesus. And in fact, a friend of mine started to read through like Mark's Gospel. And as I looked at Jesus in Mark, I just saw this power and authority that he had. And I remember thinking, this guy is amazing. I will follow him anywhere. And as I began to engage with him and read the Bible and engage with other good Christians as well, some friends of mine who helped me to journey into this, if you like, this relationship with God, I began to discover that the life that I really always wanted was there now in this going God's way, following Jesus, in a relationship, as it were, with him, if I can put it that way, a friend who would never let me down and would lead me into new pastures. And I have to say, I've never regretted it. I had a new purpose for living. I thought, God, send me to China, do whatever you want with me. He filled me with his Spirit, gave me a new purpose, and actually only led me as far as Liverpool. Hey, it doesn't always work out the way you think, does it? But I have to say, every day since then has been a life of adventure. It's not always been easy. I've had to go through some very difficult things. But underneath some of the most difficult things I've had to face, when family members have been critically ill or dying even, or have been in difficult situations, I have known him there with me, seeing me through. And I know that through him, I not only have purpose for today and life in its fullness, but I have a future, I have an eternal life, a life that will go beyond this world into heaven, into all eternity. So I'm just delighted to be able to share my story and be able to say, this is what I found. I'm just passing it on.